Before we get started, don't forget to subscribe and like. Our series begins with a handsome young man, the kind of guy anyone would think is polite and well-mannered, a true gentleman from a good family. But in reality, he's a bad boy. Anyone who crosses his path soon learns he's ruthless and cruel. We see him in the middle of a fight with a group of guys who tried to enter his area without his permission. They don't realize he's a deadly beast who shows no mercy. He attacks them all by himself, knocking each one down effortlessly. It's clear he's a skilled fighter who knows many martial arts and isn't afraid of anything. He dodges every hit, breaks bones, and defeats them easily. Out of fear, one of them starts cursing, regretting ever stepping into his territory. The next day, our guy rides his motorcycle to meet his friends. We learn that his name is Hyuk, a high school student who decided to drop out and live on the streets with his friends. They hang out together, bored, until one of them suggests joining a motorcycle race to earn some money. They all agree and go with him. Then the scene shifts to a high school where we see a gang of bullies. Their leader's right-hand man gives the others orders. He's dominant, intimidating, and everyone fears him. No one dares to upset him because that would mean angering the gang leader himself. Suddenly, his girlfriend walks in, calling him my bunny. She's upset and wants to argue with him. The tough bully suddenly becomes submissive, saying, "Whatever you say." She smiles and replies, "That's more like it. You're not my bunny for nothing." After school, one of the bullies starts picking on a weak student, intending to beat him up. At that moment, Hyuk passes by with his friends and sees what's happening. They feel sorry for the poor student. One of Hyuk's friends wants to help, but Hyuk stops him, saying, "Don't. If we help him, the bullies will just target him more tomorrow when we're not around. Use your brain before your fists." His friend listens and decides not to interfere, but the bully mocks Hyuk, thinking he's scared. That's when Hyuk loses his temper and decides to show his other side. His friends try to calm him down, saying, "Leave it to us, boss." They attack the bullies, and a fight breaks out. Hyuk's friend manages to knock one of them down easily, but another bully cheats. He grabs some dust and throws it into his eyes so he can't see, laughing, "War is all about tricks." As he's about to hit him, Hyuk steps in and stops him. The bully tries the same dust trick on Hyuk, but it doesn't work. Hyuk dodges and smirks, saying, "Come on, I know you. We were born in the same hospital. They gave you a diaper while I was paying the doctor's bill for my mom." He charges at him and within seconds takes him down hard. The bullies are shocked by his strength and realize he's not just an ordinary guy. Terrified, they run away. The weak student thanks them and insists on repaying them. Hyuk says, "There's no need, but if you really want to, buy us lunch." The boy agrees and takes them to a restaurant. He orders them whatever they want, and they all eat until they're full. Then they ask why the bullies were targeting him. He explains it's because of his sister and shows them her photo. Hyuk's friend is stunned. She's cute and beautiful and jokes, "Bro, from now on, you're my best friend." The boy then tells them everything. His sister is a kind, helpful girl, loved by everyone at school. But one of the bullies had a crush on her, watching her from afar. She ignored him, which made his girlfriend jealous. So, the jealous girl and her friends started bullying his sister to force her to drop out. They even accused her of flirting with the guy and trying to steal him. They locked her in the bathroom and forced her to drink something disgusting. They threatened to kill her if she told anyone. She was hospitalized after that, and since then, he's been bullied because of her. Hyuk and his friends get furious and want to help him get revenge. They ask why he didn't tell the principal or his parents, but he says he's too scared. Their leader is dangerous, a wrestling champion. He even once saw the leader fight another tough guy at school. Everyone expected the big, muscular guy to win, but the gang leader, confident and skilled in boxing, completely destroyed him. With quick strikes, he broke his opponent's nose and made him kneel before finishing him off with one last hit. Since that day, everyone fears him and gives him massive respect. The boy finishes his story and says, "I want to be strong like you guys, to protect myself and my sister." At first, Hyuk refuses, not wanting him to ruin his future and drop out like they did. But later, feeling sorry for him, Hyuk says, "All right, meet me tomorrow in my area." The boy happily agrees and thanks him. That night, we meet someone who looks exactly like Hyuk, his twin brother. He's been up late studying. Though they look identical, their personalities are opposites. The twin is polite, hardworking, and always top of his class, loved by his family, unlike Hyuk, who they're ashamed of. Hyuk thinks about the weak boy he met earlier and worries his brother might also be bullied. He asks if anyone at school is bothering him, but his brother, nervous, says everything is fine. Hyuk feels relieved and goes to bed. The next day at school, the bullies stand nervously before their gang's second-in-command, who notices the bruises on their faces. He asks who did it. Scared to tell him it was just one guy, they lie, saying they were attacked by a large gang of more than 10 people. Angry, the second-in-command vows to get revenge for them. The deputy gang leader starts gathering the rest of his crew to get ready for a fight. Meanwhile, Hyuk is at home taking a family photo. After they finish, his father asks him to stay for lunch, but Hyuk refuses, saying he has plans with his friends and doesn't want to be late. He leaves right away. When he gets to his friends, he finds them teaching the weak student some self-defense moves to protect himself from bullies. Focus! If someone comes at you from the right, step aside and trip him. From the left, kick him hard. And this hand, treat it like a hammer, hit him with all your strength. But the poor boy is clumsy and keeps messing up. They suddenly spot two bullies trying to rob another student. What's strange is that the student looks strong enough to defend himself, but he doesn't. Hyuk decides to help, but his friends tell him to let them handle it, saying it's not worth him getting involved. They approach the bullies, asking what they want, but things quickly turn into a fight. Within seconds, Hyuk's friends defeat the bullies and chase them out of their area. The robbed student thanks them and reveals he's actually a wrestler, but he's afraid that if the school finds out he used his strength for violence, he'll be kicked off the team. He promises to repay them one day. If you ever need help, just call me. I owe you. Then he leaves. When he arrives at his training center, he finds a girl from school waiting for him. She shyly gives him a gift and runs away. He's surprised, but realizes she likes him. He's happy and decides to ask her out after his next competition. When he enters the gym, his coach yells at him for being late again. The next day, Hyuk and his friends visit the hospital to check on the weak student's sister. His friends dress up nicely, hoping to impress her. But when they walk in, she panics. She's still traumatized and unable to speak because of what she went through. Hyuk, being the gentleman, has brought her a small gift. Everyone is surprised. When did he become so sweet? But she smiles faintly, clearly touched by his kindness. Meanwhile, the bullies from earlier are gathering more members to get revenge on Hyuk and his friends. Among them is one who's kind-hearted and hates violence, but he's forced to join. They reach Hyuk's area and wait for them. When Hyuk and his friends show up, the bullies are shocked to see there are only 3 of them instead of the 10 they were told about. They laugh, underestimating them, without realizing those 3 could take on an army. The bullies threaten to hand over the weak student so they can beat him, or else they'll regret it. A huge fight breaks out. Hyuk and his friends fight fiercely and defeat many of them with ease. The weak boy gets nervous, but Hyuk tells him, "Don't worry, watch and learn." He hands him his bag and jumps into the fight. Hyuk's moves are fast and powerful. He dodges every strike, turning into a beast on the battlefield. One by one, he takes them all down. Everyone is amazed by his strength. No one dares face him. Then, the kind-hearted bully, the good one, steps in. He challenges Hyuk to one-on-one combat, asking for the last time to hand over the weak student peacefully because he hates violence. But Hyuk, being honorable, refuses. "We'll never abandon our friend, even if it costs us our lives." That leaves only one option: fight. The 2 of them go head-to-head. Their skills and speed are almost equal. At first, it looks like the kind bully is weak, but he turns out to be fast and disciplined, a real fighter. The crowd is stunned. No one can tell who will win. Hyuk decides to unleash his full strength to end it, but just then, they hear police sirens approaching. The bullies panic and run away. Hyuk and his friends also flee. They don't want trouble with the cops. Afterward, the weak boy feels guilty for dragging them into all this. He apologizes, but Hyuk smiles and says, "Don't apologize. You're our friend. It's our duty to protect you. That's what friends are for, right? Just treat us to lunch next time." They all laugh, and the boy agrees happily. Meanwhile, the gang leader finds out what happened. He gathers all the members and scolds them. He looks at the kind bully and says, "Why did you hide your fighting skills from me? If I'd known you were this strong, I would have made you my right-hand man." The boy apologizes and admits he doesn't like violence and wants to quit the gang. The leader is surprised by his honesty, but agrees on one condition: he must promise not to get involved in fights again. The boy promises and leaves the gang, thinking it's over. But when he returns to class, the other bullies start provoking him. They bully a deaf student right in front of him to make him angry and break his promise. They snatch his hearing aid and pour juice on him, trying to force him to fight. He finally loses his temper and almost attacks them, but luckily, the teacher walks in. The bullies lie, pretending they were just joking. The kind bully doesn't expose them, afraid of making things worse. Later, he goes to the bathroom to wash up. The deaf student thanks him and apologizes for causing trouble. Meanwhile, the deputy gang leader discovers the truth, that Hyuk and his friends were the ones who beat them. Furious, he gathers the bullies in an empty classroom and beats them himself as punishment, even slapping the gang leader's girlfriend, saying, "You caused this mess with your jealousy." She cries and promises never to bully anyone again, but he warns her, "No, you can't stop now. If we back down, our gang's reputation will be ruined. People will think we're scared of that guy Hyuk. I'll handle this myself." He calls a professional fighter he knows and tells him, "There's this guy named Hyuk. He and his friends are are causing trouble in my area. I want you to teach them a lesson. The fighter agrees, but warns him it'll be the last favor he ever does for him. Later, we see the wrestler training again. The girl who likes him watches from afar. He gets embarrassed, tells her to wait outside, changes his clothes, and walks her home. He reminds her to focus on her studies because exams are coming soon. She smiles, happy that he cares, feeling that he might like her too. Meanwhile, the weak student goes to the hospital and learns from the doctor that his sister is recovering well and can be discharged. He's overjoyed and takes her home, telling her proudly how he's stronger now and can protect her from anyone who tries to hurt her again. His sister smiles and thanks him, but suddenly, two bullies appear who want to take her with them. This time, though, her brother decides to defend her. He gets ready to fight them, and the bullies start mocking him because they think he's weak, but he uses the moves he learned from Hyuk and manages to hit one of them hard enough to knock him to the ground. The bully is shocked by his strength, so he grabs the sister as a hostage and threatens him. The boy gets scared for her and panics. He hasn't learned what to do in situations like this and can't react properly. The bully takes advantage of that and beats him up. Meanwhile, Hyuk goes to meet his friends, but is shocked to find them all lying on the ground. He sees the fighter the bully sent waiting for him and realizes he's the one who did this. Hyuk decides to take him down, and a big fight starts between them. The fighter manages to land some hits and knock Hyuk down. He thinks he's won, but it turns out Hyuk had only been pretending. He wanted to test his opponent's strength. Then, Hyuk decides to fight seriously, using his secret move. He grabs the fighter's arm and threatens to break it if he doesn't surrender. The fighter refuses, so Hyuk hits him on the head and knocks him unconscious. When the fighter wakes up, he finds Hyuk and his friends standing in front of him and realizes they didn't steal his money. He's surprised because the bully had told him they were a gang that robbed students. He realizes he was tricked and decides to help them instead. He tells them where the weak student and his sister are. There, the bully's boss is beating the poor boy and breaking the bones in his face in front of his sister. He tells her to agree to be his girlfriend, and then he'll leave her brother alone and make her the queen of the school. Everyone falls silent as he gives her an ultimatum, but she refuses because she doesn't love him. Furious, he continues to beat her brother brutally to make her regret it. He gives her one last chance to agree, or watch him die in front of her. Suddenly, Hyuk arrives on his motorcycle to save them. He gets off, full of confidence. They surround him, but Hyuk doesn't give them a chance. He says, "Do you know what I learned in school? If something gets in my way, I crush it first." He sends two of them flying with a single hit. The rest panic, but he grabs them and smashes them around, saying if they make him mad, he won't apologize. We learn that this was all part of Hyuk's plan to distract them while his friends sneak in to rescue the weak student and his sister. They succeed and run away safely. Hyuk fights the entire gang alone and defeats them all, leaving them crawling on the ground. The boss's assistant is shocked by Hyuk's power and tells him he'll remember his face and take revenge someday. Hyuk doesn't respond. He just walks away, having completed his mission. Later, the bullies in class keep tormenting the hearing-impaired student. They tie a belt around his neck and choke him. The kind bully decides to defend him, attacks the others, and beats them up. The bullies are thrilled. Their plan worked. They managed to provoke him, which means he broke his promise to their boss not to fight. Now they want revenge. They gather a huge group of gang members to ambush him outside the classroom, but he doesn't fear them. He channels all his anger and easily defeats many of them in under a minute, breaking bones and faces. No one can stop him. He reaches their leader and gets ready to fight him, but the leader lets him hit him instead. The kind bully is shocked by this. It turns out the leader did that because a teacher was nearby. The teacher thinks the kind bully is the one being violent and takes him to the office for questioning. That night, Hyuk takes the poor student and his sister home. He wants to take the boy to the hospital, but the boy refuses, saying he's fine. Hyuk helps his sister take him inside and stays by her side all night to comfort her. He tells her brother is okay, so she won't feel guilty. But when he goes back to his room, he silently suffers from the pain of the beating. The next morning, his sister goes to wake him up. She keeps calling him, but he doesn't answer. She finds out to her horror that he has died. She collapses in tears, crying, "You promised you'd protect me. How could you leave me broken like this?" Hyuk and his friends gather around, asking what happened. They learn everything from the neighbors. The news reaches the bully who beat him. Instead of feeling guilty, he laughs. He's proud, thinking now everyone will fear him, and no one will dare to touch him again. Hyuk's friends are furious. One of them wants to fight the bullies to avenge the boy, but Hyuk stops him. He takes them to the police station to file a report. They tell the investigator everything, but he doesn't believe them, thinking they're lying because they're known troublemakers who skip school. The boys leave the station frustrated. They decide to hold a memorial for the poor boy. They paint his picture in their neighborhood, remember their memories with him, and cry because they'll never see him again. They apologize to him and promise to keep keep his spirit alive inside them, that they'll get justice for him, no matter the cost. Later, the school principal holds a meeting with the teachers to discuss the boy's death. One teacher insists he was a good, harmless student who never caused trouble, so something must have happened to him, but the principal says he died at home and refuses to punish the bullies. She's too afraid of damaging the school's reputation. Hyuk and his friends then visit the dead boy's sister, who has no one left and is heartbroken. They bring her food and call out to her, but she locks herself in her room and refuses to come out. They realize she's still scared and doesn't trust anyone yet. They leave the food at her door and keep coming every day to check on her, day after day, until one day, she opens her brother's phone and sees pictures of him smiling with Hyuk and his friends. She realizes how happy he was with them and how much he trusted them. She decides to trust them too. This time, she goes outside to talk to them. They're overjoyed that she finally opened up and invite her to come with them to their usual hangout spot. At that same time, the kind bully, now expelled from school unjustly, is there, upset about what happened to him. Coincidentally, the fighter also arrives to check on them. When he sees the kind bully, he tries to joke with him, but the boy, full of anger, doesn't take it well and challenges him to a fight. The fighter tries to calm him down, saying he doesn't want to fight because he's afraid of getting expelled too. But the kind bully attacks him anyway, and a big fight almost breaks out between them. Luckily, Hyuk arrives just in time, thinking he can stop them, but they ignore him and keep fighting like kids. Eventually, all three, Hyuk, the kind bully, and the fighter, start brawling playfully, while Hyuk's friends watch and laugh. They're all equally strong, each using their own fighting skills, wrestling, martial arts, and street techniques, until they all get exhausted. Hyuk's friends step in to separate them, and the girl laughs at their childish behavior. Hyuk, with his warm heart, feels happy that he could cheer her up and help her forget the pain of her brother's death. Later, he talks with the fighter and learns that the school labeled the poor boy's death as an accident and closed the case completely. Hyuk is shocked by what he hears and gets angry that their friend's rights were lost. He asks his sister to go home and then takes her on his motorcycle to drop her off. After that, Hyuk decides to take revenge on the bullies gang. The kind bully hears this and decides to join him since he also wants revenge. After all, he was expelled from school because of them. He tells them that the gang has around 100 members, divided into two groups, which means it's impossible to defeat them all at once. They'll need a solid plan and teamwork to reach the leader, who's the strongest among them. Hyuk and the kind bully meet one of the gang members, who shows up with a large group of bullies to attack them. What he doesn't know is that Hyuk and the kind bully are absolute beasts. They charge at the bullies and start fighting them. Each one takes on several at once, crushing them easily. In the end, they even compete to see who beat up more people. They manage to win the fight without even using their full strength. The gang member is shocked by their power and terrified. He backs off and tries to make peace, saying, "Please, think of me as your spy, Potato. I'm just a poor guy. I'll get you whatever information you want. Just don't hurt me." He starts giving them information about the gang and promises to help them by updating them on everything that happens. Hyuk and the kind bully decide to use this information wisely. That night, they put their plan into action. They split up, and each of them goes to deal with a different part of the gang. They keep ambushing and defeating them, one by one. The next day, we see the girl who likes the wrestler waiting for him. They've planned to go out together, but the leader's assistant notices her and is captivated by her beauty. He's the kind of guy who drools over any pretty girl he sees. He goes to harass her and tries to grab her, but luckily, the wrestler arrives just in time. He says, "What do you think you're doing? Not every piece of fresh meat is yours to touch." His eyes fill with anger. He grabs one of the bullies by the arm, almost breaking it, and warns them not to ever go near his girlfriend again. Then, he takes her away from there. The girl is thrilled by what he did and becomes even more fond of him. They start spending more time together and get to know each other better. They go to a concert, and the wrestler feels shy because it's the first time he's ever gone out with a girl, but she keeps getting closer to him and takes pictures with him to make him feel more comfortable. Eventually, he relaxes around her. He takes her bike riding afterward. Then they go to an amusement park and try all the rides together, laughing and having fun. He buys her the ice cream flavor she loves, and they spend a beautiful day together. On their way home, he walks her back and tells her, "Let's hold off on the dating part until I finish the championship. Then you'll graduate too, and we'll go to college together. We'll be the best couple ever and take over the world." But the leader's disgusting assistant gets angry because it's the second time he's been rejected. He decides to take revenge on the wrestler and ruin his future. The next day, he provokes the team captain, telling him he's going to gather his men and beat up the wrestler after school. The captain gets furious and warns him, "If you hurt anyone from my team, I'll destroy you myself." But this was all part of the assistant's plan. He secretly records the argument and spreads rumors that that the wrestler's team uses violence against weaker students. The video reaches the school administration, and because of it, the entire wrestling team is about to be disbanded. The captain decides to take the blame himself to protect the team. He goes to the school administration, kneels on the floor, and apologizes for everything. He tells them he's withdrawing from the team and begs them not to punish the others, who had nothing to do with it. He sacrifices himself for his teammates. After that, our wrestler friend gives it his all to make up for what happened. When the day of the championship arrives, Hyuk and his friends come to cheer for him. The wrestler fights with all his strength, winning every match by knockout, and takes first place in the entire tournament. Everyone is amazed by his power, cheering his name and celebrating his victory. Everyone's happy, even our heroine. But then she spots the bully, who caused all the suffering, and asks Hyuk to leave with her. On the way, Hyuk feels guilty about running away. He stops his motorcycle and talks to her. He tells her she shouldn't be the one hiding. She's the victim. He says, "That filthy bully must pay the price. He's the reason your brother died, and I lost my best friend." But she looks hopeless and says, "There's nothing I can do. I've already decided to leave the country next week." Hyuk promises her that he'll make the bully confess his crime and apologize to her. She believes him, and they start walking together. However, the female bully tricks her. She tells her that someone's waiting for her outside and offers to take her there. The poor girl believes her and goes with her, only to find out it was a trap set by the disgusting bully to kidnap her. When the wrestler hears this, he runs to save her. He arrives at the location where she's being held and finds the bully waiting for him, mocking him to provoke a fight. The bully sneers, "I took your girl, champ, and what can you do about it? You're just a wrestler, helpless off the mat." The wrestler loses control of his anger. He says, "You know what people say about me? They say my kindness can never be forgotten. So take this, let me remind you of it." Then, dear viewer, he unleashes his fury. He charges at them like a wild beast, smashing through all of the bullies one by one. He crushes them easily. None of them can stop him. Finally, he reaches the disgusting bully and says, "Come on, show me what you got. You actually make me feel sorry for you. Go ahead, hit me. I'll let you prove how soft you really are." The bully tries to punch him with all his strength, but ends up hurting his own hand. He realizes his opponent isn't an ordinary person. The wrestler takes the chance and attacks him relentlessly. He pins him against the wall and keeps hitting him, right, left, again and again, until the bully's bones are broken. Terrified, the bully realizes his end is near. The wrestler, filled with rage and pain, is about to finish him off for good, to make sure he never hurts his girlfriend again. But just in time, Hyuk arrives and stops him. He tells him to take his girlfriend to the hospital and leave the rest to him. The wrestler listens, looks at his unconscious girlfriend lying on the ground, and feels his heart break. He remembers all the beautiful moments they shared and feels guilty that she got hurt because of him. He picks her up gently and takes her to the hospital. Meanwhile, the heroine approaches the fallen bully, who's barely conscious, but still laughing to provoke her. Hyuk loses his temper and punches him until he passes out. Then he goes to the girl and hugs her to comfort her, saying softly, "I'm proud of you. You're brave." She doesn't hold back her tears and thanks him for everything he's done for her. A week later, we find out that she has traveled, and Hyuk and the kind bully start training hard so they can defeat the gang leader. At the same time, we learn that the wrestler was expelled from the school team and his future was destroyed. Sadly, he also has to stay away from his girlfriend for her own good. He dyes his hair and decides to become a thug so he can get revenge on the gang leader. And from here, dear viewer, I can tell you, the team is now complete, and from this point on, they're ready to take on everyone. He goes to fight the leader in his territory, and a big battle breaks out between them. But he's shocked by how powerful the leader is. He can't keep up and ends up getting badly beaten. His face is bruised and broken, and he realizes he can't defeat him alone, so he decides to join forces with Hyuk and the kind bully. They all sit together and start planning to destroy the gang once and for all. "We have to deliver justice with our own hands," Hyuk says. He contacts their spy inside the gang to get useful information for their mission. The spy tells him that the entire gang will gather in one place. This could be their only chance to take them all down. But it turns out the gang leader was smart. He had discovered the spy's betrayal and forced him to give Hyuk false information. Later, the spy calls Hyuk, apologizes, and thanks him for trying to protect him. Hyuk reassures him, saying he'll handle everything. The next day, the plan begins. Hyuk leaves home, but his brother stops him, saying there's something important he wants to tell him. Since Hyuk is in a hurry, he asks him to wait until he returns, promising they'll talk later. He walks away, not knowing what's about to happen. Meanwhile, his friends realize that if things go wrong, Hyuk will be in danger. They decide to risk their lives and go fight the gang on their own. At the same time, Hyuk sets an ambush for the gang leader in an abandoned car warehouse. He wants to end it once and for all. The leader doesn't seem afraid. He agrees to fight him to see who's stronger. leader. Hyuk tries to use his speed to attack, but the leader is even faster. Hyuk keeps throwing punches, but the leader blocks every hit. Hyuk falls, gets up again, and finally lands a punch that cuts the leader's face. The leader is shocked. It's the first time anyone has ever hurt him. He admits Hyuk is strong, then decides to use his full power too. At the same time, the kind bully and his friends are fighting the rest of the gang. Even though they're outnumbered, they fight with everything they have, not backing down. They manage to defeat many of them, but grow exhausted. The gang surrounds them and knocks them to the ground. The kind bully tries to defend his friends, fighting off as many as he can. But when he realizes he's completely surrounded, he decides to sacrifice himself so no one can go help the leader against Hyuk. He fights to his last breath, using every skill he knows, but the gang uses weapons, hitting him hard and leaving him bleeding on the ground. Then the wrestler shows up at the perfect time. "Where have you been, man? We needed you," they shout. And just like that, the beast is unleashed. He jumps into the fight, knocking down 3 bullies in one strike, breaking bones and smashing sticks, leaving everyone crawling on the ground. Only 2 remain, the leader's right-hand man and his assistant, the strongest after the leader. The kind bully decides to fight the assistant. The assistant underestimates him, thinking he's still weak, but he doesn't know how much stronger the bully has become after training. He dodges all his attacks until the perfect moment comes. He jumps into the air, punches him hard in the face, grabs his head, and slams it into the ground. But the assistant isn't easy. He escapes just in time and fights back with full force. The kind bully remembers his training, grabs a metal rod, and strikes him again and again, wounding his arm and leg to slow him down. He pins him against the wall and finishes him off with a powerful blow, saying, "This one's for the kid you killed." Meanwhile, the wrestler battles the leader's right-hand man, a kung fu expert. He endures countless hits until he finds an opening, attacks from behind, and keeps punching until he knocks him out cold. With both lieutenants defeated, all that's left is Hyuk versus the gang leader. The fight is brutal. The leader uses the dark corners of the warehouse to his advantage, striking Hyuk and disappearing. Hyuk, though exhausted, refuses to give up. He recalls his training, figures out the leader's weakness, and uses it. He flips him to the ground, jumps, and lands a massive finishing move. The leader loses consciousness. Hyuk wins the fight. Hyuk collapses from exhaustion, resting afterward. His friends arrive to check on him, and he's relieved to see them all safe. They celebrate their victory. The gang is destroyed. They take a photo next to the drawing of the poor student who died, knowing they've finally avenged him. By coincidence, Hyuk's crush calls him. She's learned everything that happened and prepared a surprise for his birthday. She confesses her feelings. "I like you. I want to be with you." Hyuk is surprised. He'd forgotten it was his birthday, but he smiles, telling her he likes her too. His friends cheer for them and bring out a cake to celebrate. Everyone laughs and enjoys the moment, thinking the nightmare is finally over. But suddenly, everything changes. Hyuk hears something that shocks him and rushes home, only to find out that his younger brother had been bullied at school all this time. His brother never told him, afraid it would cause trouble. Hyuk realizes that was what his brother tried to tell him before he left that morning. He feels crushed with guilt. If only he had listened, he could have protected him. A week later, his brother's condition worsens, and tragically, he dies from his injuries. Heartbroken, Hyuk decides to take his brother's place. Since they were twins and look identical, no one can tell them apart. He wears his brother's clothes and glasses, determined to return to school and get revenge on the bullies who caused his death. And that's where the story ends, for now. Will our hero succeed in avenging his brother? This drama ends here for now. Season 2 hasn't been released yet. Please like and subscribe, and check out the other dramas on the channel. You'll definitely enjoy them. See you in the next drama. Bye.